My head girls rescue met the bar witnessing. Tears fled the head, I'm waiting, I guess she tweeting, I guess she confess, she thinking less, not drinking less. Bathroom says, investigate, spontaneous, I stereotype. Put to rest tonight. Imagine, believe, and achieve, it works. Skyline as a rise like fireworks. Smell through the bag, don't touch my
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to this edition of After the Storm, your Oklahoma City Thunder post-game analysis live stream. How about those Thunder tonight, man? Oh man, 101, 100, and we had talked about this, how the Thunder needed to get this first one because we played the Clippers again Thursday night, and then the Lakers Friday night. Of course, SGA does not play back to back, so it was imperative that the Thunder win tonight because SGA will not play. Hopefully, will not play Thursday, and then you turn around and you play against the Lakers on Friday with LeBron missing. So let's just hope that the Thunder, or if they're playing SGA back to back, I'd rather SGA play back to back. But if you're not going to do it, this was the thing. And today on the Unpopular Hour, I talked about that today on my daily show, my daily sports show. And then yesterday I talked about it as well. Also, after our win against Phoenix Sunday night on this show, I was like giving you the breakdown of what the Thunder needed to do. The first thing I said there was the steps that they needed to do in order to make sure that you're not only in the play-in games, but you probably could get out of the play-ins and actually be in the playoffs. And the first step one was our first three games, 2 out of 3 were at home, that you had to go 2-1. We beat the Brooklyn and beat them the first, turned around and lost to Toronto on the road, came back home and beat Phoenix Suns. And so we were 2-1. And now this 4-game road trip, which let me talk about right now so you understand what I am trying to say. This next road trip, we won. We've got Tuesday, which I said was tonight. We've got to win that one game because SGA does not play on Thursdays, or it was not going to play back to back. So, okay, we beat the Clippers today. We can afford to lose to them because if anybody we can gain ground on, we don't really care. I mean, they're far ahead of us, but I mean, it's nice that we got a win tonight to kind of help with that. But the Clippers are quite a bit ahead of us, so I don't know if we can go 2.5, 3 games in order to catch them. I think we only 1 game back. We'll look that up here in just a second. And then you turn around and then you've got the Lakers. Excuse me. You have the Clippers, and then we play the Lakers on Friday. And SGA will probably play in that, and then we turn around and play Portland. So this is step 2 of these next 4 games. The 2 games against the Clippers, the game against the Lakers, and the Portland Trailblazers. And I said we have to go a minimum of 2-2, preferably 3-1, but minimum of 2-2 so that we can stay in position to get into the playoffs. Okay, because as of this morning, we went from being the A seed and playing on the road at Golden State. Okay, and then the winner of the Lakers and T-Wolves would come to Oklahoma City and play. So we'd get our first home playoff game in 4 years, 5 years, whatever, 4 years, I think, 5 years, whatever it is. And we get our first home game playoff. And but since we didn't play, and then the situation happened, then you look up, and then it ended up being the way it is right now. When you look at the West standings, excuse me, I don't have it on this particular one. I've got to update my After the Storm. I have it on my daily show, the Unpopular Hour. But the way in bracket play, now we had to play up, and we're back into the 9th seed. So now we have to play on the road, and then if we win that, we turn around and we would play at home. So instead of we'd play at home and then turn around and play on the road in order to get into the playoffs. And I would much rather have played on the road against Golden State and then have a home game to get in the playoffs instead of having a home game and then winning on the road to get into the playoffs. I'd much rather do that because I think at home, the players are just now experiencing what it's like in Thunderdome, where it used to be Thunderdome and then it was the peak. But I liked it when it was Thunderdome. Boy, it used to just rock. So hopefully they come back to Thunderdome where these guys will understand what it's like when you got 18,400 fans and they're going absolutely crazy in the energy that our fans or that the fans produce for the players. And of course, KD and Russell and those guys knew all about it, which allowed us to win as many games as we did. So anyway, and by the way, on a sad note, you can see I got my OSU stuff on. My Cowboys lost tonight with a chance playing at home 59-65 to North Texas for North Texas to go to the finals, to the Final Four of the NIT. So Cowboys, great season considering the injuries and everything that we went through. Want to take my hat off to Coach B and the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But anyway, the Cowboys lose 59-65 if you didn't know about it. So, but I still have my stuff on, went to the game, came back so that I could get to watch this Thunder. So anyway, the Thunder now have improved to 36-36. The Clippers fall to 38-35, I believe is what they are now. Anyway, the Thunder, great win by the Thunder. Loved what I saw by them. Here is, when you look at what happened in the game. I mean, part of my keys to the game were very simple for the Thunder. Here are my keys. Get off to a good start. We did not do that. Play good perimeter defense. We did not do that in the beginning. In the beginning, move without the basketball. We did not do that. Play within our capabilities. We did not do that. But then what ended up happening is after they made their run, the Thunder steadied the ship and did what they needed to do. So, but anyway, so we didn't do any of those things. So when you get off to a bad start, what happens? And we started, of course, with our normal group: SGA, Josh, J Dub, Lou Dort, and Jay Will. And Jay Will got picked up 2 quick fouls. I mean, I want to say he picked up 2 fouls within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the game. So that really kind of got him out of sync, even though he did come back in the second quarter and make some huge, huge threes to get us up and get us ahead there in the second quarter. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then SGA, of course, was really struggling because the length of Paul George and the length of Kawhi Leonard, and then Russell Westbrook playing the way Russell plays hard, especially against Oklahoma City. He wants to beat us every time he sees us simply because he's no longer here. And it's just Russell plays hard, but I think he plays a little bit harder against the Thunder. But of course, then he does Russell things at the end of the game. flying through the basket, turning the ball over at a key point, and then of course SGA comes back and makes him play, makes him pay for the Thunder to end up being what ended up being the game-winning basket by SGA. But anyway, SGA started out 3 for 3. Then he struggled a little bit there because I mean those guys, they got long arms. He had 3 turnovers early. I mean they were just pestering him left and right. But what does SGA do? SGA adjusts to what the defense is doing. It's like, okay, you're gonna do this? Okay, well I'm gonna hold the ball here. I'm gonna tuck it in. I'm gonna keep. What's the first rule of basketball, guys? Ball you man. Ball you man. First rule of basketball. Always remember that. Ball you man. And so SGA lost sight of that and was putting the ball out. Well, what those guys with quicksand as they've got, they're gonna pick it off. But then what did SGA do? Turn around to Paul George and Kawhi. Did the same thing to them. Hey, you got long arms, I got long arms. I can do the same thing that you're gonna do, especially if the officials are going to let us get away with that. So, but then of course, the SGA does a great job of adjusting, kind of like what he did against Phoenix. Weren't getting calls early. What did he do? He adjusted and started making shots down the stretch. But he's going to have to stay off the floor. Hitting. I can promise you, I've been on the floor a lot. It takes a toll on your body. He's got to. I promise you, he's going to need an ice bath tonight because there's just no way your body can take that much pounding, hitting the floor over and over and over, 6, 7, 8 times a game. You can't do it. And plus, he's thin on top of that. And then, of course, Dort could not make a shot. He was, 0 for 5 on his first threes. He just could not make a shot. I mean, I'm talking wide open, and he's at the line, just wasn't going. Josh wasn't going. And we started out, what did we start out? 0 for 6 from 3, 0 for 5 from 3. And it was just one of those things. We just could not knock him down. And we're wide open. We're doing everything we need to do. We're moving. We're hitting the open man. The ball just wasn't dropping. Okay, which I had no problem with us shooting the 3 because, I mean, you got to. I mean, the ball movement and you catch it in rhythm, you just got to knock that shot down. But the Thunder, I could not do it. But I want to take my hat off to them because the one thing that I looked at, the score was 4-18. 4-18. And then all of a sudden with 6 minutes to go. And then what do? We got back into the game slowly. Isaiah Joe came in, started knocking down some shots, and all of a sudden, slowly but surely, the tide turned. The tide turned. You had Isaiah Joe, Lindy Waters coming in, didn't do a whole lot. Then you stuck him out. Then you got J Dub, just all of a sudden just came out of nowhere, and he saved us in the first quarter. He just when we brought in our second group, our subs against their subs, and you had SGA, Waters, Jang, Sar. By the way, Olivier Sar played great tonight in relief of J Will because he was in foul trouble. So Olivier Sarr did a great job, which is what you want him for. He's a big guy, and that's one thing we're missing is somebody in the paint that can alter shots, that can block shots, that can do some things. He just doesn't have the body to finish, and he should have. Still can't believe he didn't dunk on Zubac. I mean, you got to be able to do that. But anyway, Isaiah Joe, Lindy Waters, Jang, J Dub, and Sar. But J Dub, I mean, everybody else was just out there. Isaiah Joe hit a shot to get us in the rhythm, but J Dub just took over. He just took over at the end of the first quarter. I'm sorry, that's exactly what he did. And loved what he did. And of course, by him doing that, which is what he's capable of doing. And I tell you, we have this three-headed monster with Josh, J Dub, and SGA. But the difference is SGA is an alpha. J Dub is an alpha. And Josh is trying to figure out what an alpha is because, he's from Australia, so I don't think he knows what an alpha is. He's slowly starting to figure out because in the third and fourth quarter, he had his moments. And when he does that, I just want more moments of Josh being aggressive like that. Because I was listening to broadcasts and my occasion, those tough shot dudes, all it is a step back. All it is a fadeaway. All it is a jump. It's not, they're just good basketball moves. There's nothing fantastic about what Josh is doing. He's fundamentally sound when he gets focused, okay? But he's got to take care of the basketball. One thing I will tell whoever's training him or whatever, when he comes through the basketball, you have to tuck the basketball coming through the lane. Now, what SGA does is he moves the ball when he comes through. So when all the reaching and stuff, he usually gets an and one. But Josh doesn't have that ability, so he's got to tuck the ball when he comes to the basket. So if somebody's slapping him, it doesn't matter. All you hear is the slap and the and one. So he needs to work on that. But I love what I saw with J Dub. He just really saved us. He decided, bam, I'm taking over. Score, score, score. That's what you got to have your big three do. If SGA is struggling, Josh and J Dub have to take up. And that's exactly what they did until SGA, of course, does what SGA does. He figures out what the defense is doing to him. End of the first quarter, the Thunder are up by one after being down 4-18. They went on a 19-4 run to close out the first quarter. Clippers 0 for 6 from 3, 42% from the field, 10 rebounds, 16 pips, 4 turnovers. Thunder 2 for 12. Like I said, when we started out, I think it was 0 for 5, 0 for 6. Isaiah Joe came in and knocked down 1. So you gotta love that. 40% for field goals, 14 rebounds to their 10, 12 pips to their 16. They were just killing us inside all night long. And then, of course, we had one more turnover than they did. But, of course, SG had 3 of those early. So 3 of those contributed to him. So the rest of the team only had 2 TOs. Bench scoring, the Thunder outscoring the Clippers 3-0, which, I mean, whoop-de-doo. I don't know if that's a big deal or not. So start the second quarter. You've got J-Dub, Isaiah Joe, you've got Sar, Jang, and Lindy Waters. That's who you start. I mean, this guy's just determined he's going to play Lindy Waters. He just is. I mean, like at the end of the fourth quarter, he starts the fourth quarter, you take him out because he's not really doing anything. He scored 3, then he doesn't do anything after that. You take him out for a minute, and then you put him right back in. Then you take him out a minute later. Why the hell you put him back in? He was in there for a minute and a half, maybe. He shouldn't even came back once. I wouldn't be playing him. That's just me. I told you what I would be doing. Who did he play a lot today? And Aaron Wiggins, best wing defender, did a great job on defense and guarding George, guarding Kawhi Leonard, because he's long like those guys. He's athletic. Those other guys can't guard him. They can't guard them. You put your best defenders on the court against teams like this. But once again, he's over his skis. Once again, we're winning in spite of him. Because, why in the hell would you have Lindy Waters in the game with 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter? For what reason? Because that's what you do. Anyway, start the second quarter, and then he brings Dort in for Waters when the Thunder were down 28-31. Why? Because they go on a run with him in the game is what they do, so he has to bring Dort in for him in order to slow the run, which, once again, it's about lineups, people. It's about who you have in the game. I don't know how else to explain it. It's about who you have in the game and understanding against the Clippers, who do you have in the game that's going to match them or being able to get above us or get above them. You have the subs, like I said, you want to have J Dub and Josh in the game against their subs as much as possible. Then you want to have to me, you have two of the three on the court at all time. Either SGA and Josh or SGA and J Dub or J Dub and Josh or J Dub and SGA, whatever. You have two of those three on the court as much as possible, especially now coming down the stretch. The chances of you now letting teams get away from you are going to be slim because those one of those two guys are going to make something happen. Then you can bring in your Isaiah Joe who's going to knock down a shot. Then you got Aaron Wiggins who can defend when Dort is not in the game. Then it's whatever you want to do with that fourth, whether it's Jang, whether it's Sar and this particular guy because they had Zubek in there and you couldn't play Sarge in there. So Sar came in and did what he needed to do. So you got your matchups. And you got to understand who's out there and who can do who and who can do what. But of course, when Terrence Mann went out, then you got Covington and Lindy Waters about the same. And Covington would not be playing had Terrence Mann went out of the game with two techs, which was just stupid on his part. But that was a huge turning point with him getting his double techs and SGA only making two of the three techs. So anyway, the Thunder start coming in, and it's 31 all. You've got SGA. It's 31-31. It's going back and forth. We're going back and forth. And you've got SGA, Josh, Wiggins, J Dub, and Jay Will in the game. So he brings Jay Will back. And then what happens? The Thunder go on a run and be able to close out that quarter. And what ended up happening? You've got your guys, your starters out there. They're working because, Kawhi is just doing the business with us. He's just giving us the business. You can't do anything with that. Paul George is doing 360s in the game. He is just a monster. And hopefully Paul George will recover, but that knee injury looked bad. And it was an accidental or incidental contact between him and Lou Dort. We hope that Paul George is going to be okay, but it looked like for sure it's a minimum of a hyperextension because of the way his knee popped back. So we hope that he is not he's not hurt. But I want to say this about the Thunder: they play hard, and I loved what Wiggins was doing, making the extra play. Isaiah Joe made some huge plays by going in, getting a rebound, by giving us an extra bit, and then J Dub came down and dunked one in the third quarter. But anyway, here in the second quarter, Thunder and the Clippers back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But you got the group in there that can do that with them. But then you also have the group in there that can take the lead, and that's exactly what the Thunder did. You had the right group in there. You had your starters. They made the plays. J Will made some huge threes because what happens? If you're going to double team SGA, we're going to make you pay. And that's exactly what happened. You double SGA, we're going to make you pay. And that's exactly what they were doing. They were doubling SGA, coming off of J Will. J Will knocks down a three. Come back down a couple of plays later, double teaming SGA, J Will knocks down a three. That's the advantage of having that young men in there shooting over 40% from the three. It makes a huge difference, which is why he should play 30-something minutes a game. But when he gets in foul trouble, it is what it is. And, of course, he did pick up his fourth foul there in the second quarter. So at halftime, the Thunder are up 56-51. The Clippers are now 2 for 15 from three, 50% from the field, 22 rebounds, 38 points in the paint, 8 turnovers. The Thunder are 7 for 23 from three, 46%, 24 rebounds, 26 points in the paint, pips with 7 TOs. Remember, we had 5 at the end of the first quarter, and we only had 2. And what happens when the Thunder take care of the basketball? They're hard to beat. If they're moving without the basketball, which is what we did, scoring in the paint makes a huge difference for what we can do. But you can see that they outscored us by 12, and that was a prelude to what happened all night long. They just killed us. Absolutely murdered us in the paint. There wasn't a lot we could do, but we still maintained a 56-51 halftime lead. So that being said, let's go ahead and thank our sponsors. Collaborative Logic, appreciate them keeping us up and running. And in fact, like I said, I need to take my thing in to get them to fix my stream deck so I can just push buttons and not be looking around to see where stuff is. But anyway, if you have any computer needs, they are the people that can do that, as well as they can write software to make sure your office runs more efficient. Or if you need any website design, they can do that as well. SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning, my guy Mark Long is perfect for that. To get you guys up and running. You can build a complex. Those guys will make sure your drainage is fine, that everything is landscaped out, or excuse me, surveyed out, so everything drains properly, and you don't have to worry about flooding. They're great for that. Oak Grove Trucking, if you have any dirt or rocks to be moved, my guy Jose Fierro is for that. Greg and Max Nafee, of course, thanking them for doing everything they always do and sponsoring everything I've done over the years, and we appreciate those guys at NAFCO. Last but not least, Y&B, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender, a member of the FDIC, and also the proud sponsor of us going out to support minority women and black-owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area. You can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Or if you want to, since they are a personal bank, you can go in and see them at the main bank downtown Yukon at 401 Elm. And of course, that's with my guy, the Horn Man, Joe Horn, Carson Wright, or Nathan Taylor. Or you can go in and see the other guys as people want to see you too at the other banks at Yukon Parkway or YNB East, which is just just east of the main bank, about 2 miles east or so of the main bank in downtown Yukon. YNB Mustang to 18 Mustang Road, North Mustang Road in Mustang. The YNB Parkway, which is off I-40 and Garth Brooks Boulevard, I believe is right in front of Integris Hospital. And then, of course, the bank that I always go to is YNB Peoples on 23rd between Rockwell and MacArthur. That's the one I always go to. But by all means, go check them out. Great guys, great facilities. They will take very good care of you all. So anyway, to start the third quarter, the Thunder up 56-51. You've got SGA, Josh, J-Dub, Dort, and Sar, because Sar has to be in there because Jay Will had 4 fouls. And I will say Olivier kind of struggled a little bit right in the beginning, but he had a block, and he made a couple passes, and then he also intimidated a couple guys coming to the basket, made them miss some shots simply because he's a 7-footer who can jump. Athletic helped. So he was very he was very pivotal in the Thunder pivotal. What the hell is a pivotal tool? Anyway, he's very pivotal. I can't believe I can't talk. Anyway, he was a strong reason why the Thunder. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Yeah, I know it's late. That's what's wrong with me. It's late. It's 12 o'clock. Hopefully, you guys. I'm not gonna stay on too long so you get this anyway. But the Thunder did what the things they needed to do. They were moving without the ball. They were doing all the little things that they needed to do. And the thing that was bothering me, and I've got my notes in here, they're not rotating on defense. They were watching a lot. Like one shot went up, J-Dub didn't box out. Russell Westbrook, he crashes the board. And then you get an and one because on a putback, no, he did miss. But you've got to be cognizant of when Russell Westbrook, whoever's guarding him, has to be cognizant he's going to crash the boards every time. So you have to be very cognizant of him doing that. Now, I will say that late in the game, Dort made a huge play by crashing the boards with Russell. Ball going off Russell's hand. Thunder got the ball back, even though J-Dub did miss the shot. Instead of SGA, should have been taking it with 30 seconds to go, up by 1. He didn't get the shot up. But anyway, I want to say that the Clippers did a great job of moving without the ball. The Thunder did a horrible job in rotation on defense. Guys were sitting there watching. Guy would cut, and they were like, oh, and then by the time they rotate, the ball's already there. So I will say the Clippers did a great job in the third quarter, which allowed them to take the lead going into the fourth by 1, 81-80. The Clippers were 5 for 25 from 3, 51% from the field, 34 rebounds, 52 points in the paint with 12 turnovers. Oklahoma City 9 for 29, 42% from the field, 36 rebounds, 40 pips, 10 turnovers. Ironically, they both scored 19 points. Isn't that crazy? 15-15 at half and 19-19. So both benches didn't do a whole lot in the third quarter. But like I said, with the Thunder down 72-77, you had SGA, Josh, Dort, Wiggins, and Isaiah Joe came in there, and of course, They scored 6 straight, which allowed the Thunder to get back, or 8 straight, and the Thunder to get back into the game and only be down 80 to. They outscored them. What did they? 8-4. Went on an 8-4 run, but we scored 8 straight in there because it was 81. 81-72. That's what they got it up to, and the Thunder scored 8 straight to close out the quarter. So we got to like what I saw right there with those guys scoring 8 straight points. We really, really, really needed that. And SGA, of course, is the person who just decided he was just going to score and they weren't going to stop him. And of course, he made the adjustments, which is what great players do. They make adjustments on what the defense has doing to them. It just takes you a while to figure out when to take your shots because they're going to close off the middle. And he just was patient, and all of a sudden, 8 straight, boom, the Thunder are only down 1 going into the fourth quarter. And so, everything was on the line at that point. It's like, who are you going to start in the fourth? What you're going to do is start in the fourth. And of course, you know who he's going to start in the fourth because you know he's Mr. G League. So you know who he's going to start in the fourth quarter. And of course, you start Josh, J-Dub, which remember, I want both of them in there. Wiggins, which I'm glad you did that. Isaiah Joe, and then you got Lindy Waters. Anyway, it's 87-87. You take Lindy Waters out, Dort in for Waters. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's go. And the Thunder were back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then all of a sudden, he puts Isaiah Joe in for Waters, and the score is 91-91. And then he turns around and puts put Waters back in the game. I'm like, why are you taking Josh out and putting him in the game? Are you kidding me? What are you doing? And then all of a sudden, bam, here he comes back with the score is now 91-91. Excuse me, 91-91. It was 87-89. And then you bring him in, so it's 91-91. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And then all of a sudden it's 95-93. And you've got SGA, you got SGA, Joe, Dort, Wiggins, and J-Dub in the game, which I like that lineup because you're long. The only person I would have in there is Josh for probably Isaiah Joe if I've got to have my starters in there, maybe throwing Jay Will in there in the end if I've got to do it. And of course, I liked what I saw in the Thunder going back and forth, and it's Kawhi Leonard, SGA, Kawhi Leonard, SGA. All of a sudden, it's 101, 100, and the Thunder, SGA shoots, misses. Russell's underneath the basket, and of course, Lou Dort, who is our new Russell Westbrook, hustling, goes up for the rebound, fights Russell for it. Ball goes off on his hands. 30 seconds left. The Thunder up 101-100. Ball comes in. SGA never sees it. So congratulations, and give my hat off to the Clippers for playing great defense and said, we're not going to give SGA the ball. And of course, J-Dub tries to do something that, let's face it, let's not hold it against him because of the simple fact the ball is used to being in SGA's hands. SGA is usually the one who leads the league in clutch points in the fourth because he has the ball in his hands and he's usually been very, very clutch. But let's not say, Clippers did a great job of taking it out of his hands. And of course, J-Dub comes up with a jump hook, jump shot, fade away, whatever you want. I don't even know. I don't think he was kind of in between shots because he really just kind of rushed it up there. And all of a sudden, shot clock's off, 19 seconds left. Clippers have the ball down 1, and Kawhi decides he's just going to take the game over and win the game. That's what happened. He just decided to do it. But what happened, our best defensive player, Lou Dort, doing what Lou Dort should do and is paid to do. Play defense, D up the best player, stop him. Lou Dort did a great job. He locked Kawhi down. Kawhi did not get the shot off in time, and even if he did, it wasn't going in. And, of course, the Thunder escaped with a 101-100 victory, which was huge, 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 huge. I cannot tell you how big that game is for the Thunder. The Clippers are now 38-35. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 36-36, 500. And remember, everybody, they were only supposed to win 23 and a half games. And I said that the Thunder would win 33 minimum, and that if they did what I thought they could possibly do, they would win 40. Now, of course, this is without Chet. When I said this, there was no Chet. Okay? I thought the Thunder could win 40 games, and everybody thought I was crazy. And in fact, I'm going to go back and find that clip of when I said that on this show. I did that at Cutting Up Barbershop when I made that statement. Everybody laughed at me, thought I was crazy. And I was like, man, I'm telling you, I like what I saw from the Thunder last year when SGA made that jump. You can see Josh slowly turning the corner. And then I did not see J Dub. I did not see J Dub coming. I'm sorry. I just did not see this guy. Great pickup by Sam Presti and the staff. I can take my hat off to Sam. I mean, what a great job snatching that guy from Santa Clara. Oklahoma City ended up being 10 for 37, and we were 41% from the field. They were 47. We out rebounded them by 47 to 46, and then we caught up there in the fourth quarter in points in the paint because of you know who, SGA, and then of course the guys moving without the basketball, which is what the Thunder have to do because SGA and Josh will hit you, and the Thunder are very adept at hitting cutters going to the basket. I will say that. I got to take my hat off to the players for being able to do that. Turnovers 14 to 12, and remember we had 5 at the end of the first quarter. So we had 7 turnovers over the next 3 quarters. That's what you have to do to win games. And of course, we did win the turnover battle 14 to 12. The Clippers outscored us by 2 in the fourth quarter as far as bench scoring. And then when you do the comparison first half to second half, the Clippers ended up being 4 for 16 from 3 for the second half. The Thunder were 3 for 14. Second half, not good, but you hit the threes that you needed to hit. But mainly, we were attacking the basket and doing what we needed to do. They dropped. They were 50% at halftime. We cut them down to 47 because of defense. 46% from the field. And we dropped to 41 because they are very good defensively. Man, they're good defensively. Points in the paint. We were down 12 at half. Cut that to within 6. So we cut that in half. Great job by the Thunder. A lot of that is SGA doing what he does in the paint, like I said. And then, of course, the Thunder cutting. J-Dub had a couple dunks cutting to the basket. So, of course, the Thunder were doing a great job of hitting him. Clippers ended up outscoring us. What was that? 11 to 9, and bench scoring from the first half to the second half. So I loved what I saw right there. Even though they did have 5, we had one more turnover. They had one more turnover than we did in the second half. So those are the little things that you've got to do in order to win basketball games. And when you look at the box score, Jay Will, of course, did not play that many minutes because he was in foul trouble, but he did have 2 rebounds. He had the 2 threes were just huge in the second quarter for us to take the lead going into halftime. And if it wasn't for him, we would have been in a lot of trouble. So he's just got to be careful of fouling right away. J-Dub, 37 minutes, 8 for 15 with 20 points. He's just a beast. He's just a beast. Can't wait to watch that kid just continue to grow and get better. SGA, not one of his better shooting games, 12 for 25, but he did have 31, 6 for 7. And of course, I believe he's the only one who missed a free throw tonight. Our 90% free throw shooter is the only one to miss a free throw tonight. 1 for 4 from 3. He's going to have to improve his 3-point shooting going into next year, because if he does that, he's just going to be truly unstoppable, because everybody now sags on him. But once he can knock down the 3, that's the one thing that he's got to work on for next year. If he can do that consistently, high 30s, 36, 30, 38, 37, 38%, 39, 38 to 37 to 41, 42% from 3. If he can do that, he's just going to be a perennial all-star. Josh Giddey, 5 for 12, 0 for 3. With 13 points. He did have 6 rebounds and 6 assists, but I'm going to tell you, Josh had some key baskets. He had a stretch there where he scored those 3 baskets that we really needed there in the fourth quarter. So let me take my hat. Josh played really good. So 5 for 12, but the points that he did make were huge baskets at pivotal points in the game. Lou Dort, 1 for 8, 3 for 11, just did not play well that. But defensively, let me take my hat off to the young man. He was absolutely fantastic on the defensive end tonight. And that's what we have to have him. And that's kind of what I've been saying all along, is as the coaching staff, they need to say, okay, look, Lou, this is what you're going to do. This is put everybody where they should be for the Thunder to succeed. If they can do that, it's going to be great. Lindy Waters, 12 points, 12 minutes, 1 for 3. I just don't even know why he's on the court. You have no idea. Jang, he gives you a little bit in lieu of Kendricks Williams, but for me, Lindy Waters, there's no reason to play him because you have Isaiah Joe, you have Wiggins, you have Josh, you have J Dub, you have SGA. I don't know why he's playing. I don't know why you have him in there other than you just want to play him for whatever reason. Don't get it. Jang, like I said, he's Kendricks Williams replacement. You got to play him some more. Sarr is just if you need a big guy, you got to have him in there, and we had to have his height. Look at Isaiah Joe, 27 minutes tonight, 5 for 12, 2 for 3. I mean, he did what he needed to do to get his points down. Aaron Wiggins is doing whatever Wiggins does. 20 minutes. He probably needed to be 25 minutes because, I mean, with teams like that, you've got to play your best wing defenders. I don't understand what the coaching staff is looking at. He's your best wing defender other than Dort, and he plays 20 minutes, really? He gets his hands on ball. He plays deep. I don't understand. I just don't understand it. He's one of your best wing defenders. And you're playing against the Clippers, who are long, and you don't play him. I don't understand it. I just don't. I mean, I don't get it. Basic basketball, basic understanding of how the game is, and you can't figure it out. I don't get that. I don't get it. And you can just tell when he's on the court with SGA, with J Dub, with Josh, with Dort, you can just see the energy in which they play because they know they've got somebody to be there with them. They know those other two guys, Jang and Lindy Waters, they know they can't be there on defense. They know that. And how the hell the coaching staff don't know that? I don't get it. But the players know you can just watch their energy when that group is in, what happens. But instead of you playing the group to give you the most energy and the best chance to win, you choose to play guys who don't give you that. Don't understand it. This is playoff basketball. These are must-win games. And I'm saying right now, the players are winning in spite of him, not because of. And once he gets that change and goes, look, here's what I'm playing. SGA, Josh, J-Dub, my big three, Dort, J. Will, Isaiah Joe coming off the bench, and Wiggins. Those are my 7. Then it dictates whether I'm going to play Sarge or, like tonight, Olivier Sarr needed to play. Okay? So that's what I'm going with. That's it. And I'm going to stick Jang in there because he's long, and if he can knock down some threes for me, which he did a couple of, I mean, that's good. I can deal with that with him. But rest of that, when my lower guys, no. There's no way you can play Lindy Waters in front of Isaiah Joe, in front of Wiggins, in front of J-Dub, in front of Dort, in front of SGA, in front of Josh. He should not be. That's who he's replacing, one of those guys. How the hell are you going to put him in front of one of those guys? It doesn't make sense. You are not helping us to win, coach. You're not. You're putting a guy in there who taking minutes from people who need to be on the court for us to maximize the opportunity to win. We're winning in spite of you, not because of you. It's frustrating as hell for me. Oh, boy, it truly is. It's just really hard for me to watch him. Anyway, the NBA scores tonight. The Magic took care of the Wizards, which we don't really care. The Cavaliers and the Nets. The Cavaliers took care of the Nets, which the Cavaliers needed that win tonight. The Pistons and the Hawks, 129 to 107. Of course, Trey and them taking advantage of that. The Pelicans and the Spurs. We needed the Spurs to beat the Pelicans tonight to kind of help us, but that did not happen. And of course, the Celtics and the Kings are up there fighting the Grizzlies, so they're really far ahead of us. We're not even going to get near the 2 and 3 mark, so we're not even worried about that. But once again, the Thunder with a huge win tonight over that. And then when you look at the NBA West standings, here are the standings, or here were the standings. You can see that the Thunder let me see, do they have those up there now? Let me see. Let me go to the thing to see if I can get the standings as of now, see if they've updated them. No, they have not updated, but the Thunder are not 8th. The Thunder are 9th right now in the standings. The Thunder are 36-36. We were 9th going into the day. So the Timberwolves, once again, we've got 36-36. So we should jump back ahead of them. So we should be 8th after the night minimum. The Mavericks did not play, so we're matching them as far as the record. And then, of course, the Warriors didn't play. The Clippers, we beat the Clippers. Now the Clippers are 38-35, which puts them one game ahead of the Warriors. So Well, we basically have slid in. The Thunder were, what were we, 12, let me see, we were 12 and a half. The Clippers were 10, so we were 2.5 back, so we're only 1.5 back from them right now. So the Thunder is sitting pretty good as far as what's going on now. Tomorrow on my show, The Unpopular Hour tomorrow afternoon, just tune into our show, The Unpopular Hour tomorrow afternoon. In fact, let me tell you how you can watch us on that. And part of what I do uh, with this show is that you can remember, the best thing to do, if you will, go to YouTube, search After the Storm dash OKC Thunder. And then what will pop up is that, and if you will subscribe, hit notification, and the like button, what will happen is every time we do a show on After the Storm, you will get a notification. The same thing with the Unpopular Hour. It's the Unpopular Hour dash Matt Clark. Hit subscribe, like, and notifications, and every time we're on the air, it will give you that notification so you'll know that we're on. And then, of course, the MC Sports Network, www.mcsportsnetwork.com. You can go to that, click on that, and watch any of the shows. But if you want to keep up to date and know when we're doing anything, you can do one of those two things. And, of course, if you're Facebook friends with me, you obviously will get the notification that we're live. But if you're not, or if you want to make it easier on you, you can go ahead, like I said, search the Unpopular Hour with Matt Clark, subscribe, like, notification. After the Storm, OKC Thunder, subscribe, like, notification, and you do that. That will make your life a lot easier. And tomorrow I will break down what the playoff picture looks like, what the play-in tournament looks like, because now we should be back somewhere around 7 or 8. We'd probably play on the road again the first game, and then the second game, whoever the loser is between 9 and 10 will come back and play the Thunder at home. And then, of course, we will then have at least 2, which will give us 3 home games at that point. So in playoffs, and that would be huge, huge, huge for us this year, and then next year, and next year going forward. So that being said, hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. Go to bed, get some rest,